Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Leisha Jackson from FM Systems, and I want to thank you for attending today's webinar, BIM for the Building Lifecycle, Stay Connected with Cloud-Based Systems. Before we begin, I want to cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your console, there are multiple widgets you can use. If you have any questions during the webinar, you can click on the Q&A widget at the bottom and submit your question. We will try to answer these during the webinar or after the webinar is over. You can expand your slide area by clicking on the Maximize icon at the top right of the slide area or by dragging the bottom right-hand corner of the slide area. An on-demand version of the webinar will be available one day after the webinar and can be accessed using the same audience link that was sent to you earlier. Today on the line we have Brian Haynes, our Director of Marketing. So Brian, I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Leisha, and thanks everyone for joining us today. I'm going to be covering a little bit about our cloud-based IWMS platform, Integrated Workplace Management Solution, which is a web-based platform for managing all aspects of your facilities portfolio. And I'll talk about how that's integrated with our bidirectional integration with BIM models and show you the value of being able to do that, as well as some lessons learned that we've learned over the last several years of being able to provide this capabilities to building owners, operators, and occupiers who want to adopt BIM for the building life cycle. So without further ado, let me just go ahead and hop into my presentation. So first I wanted to cover just very quickly a little bit about FM Interact. And FM Interact is our cloud-based solution for managing building portfolios for building owners. It really enables facility team members to access, update, and report on all of your facilities data, drawings, and BIM models at your desk or in the field. Those diagrams or those images that you're seeing at the bottom of this slide are actually the FM Interact product. You're seeing it being enabled through a web browser, through an iPad or a mobile device such as an iPhone, an Android device, etc., for being able to take advantage of all of your facilities data either in the office or out there in the field. Now, there are many components of our IWMS product suite which enable you to be able to take advantage of building information modeling during every aspect of your facilities workflows. The real key core capabilities and components are right in the middle of this diagram: space and asset management. That's really where all of our customers manage their spatial information, all of the information on their physical space portfolio, as well as all of the assets that are installed, maintained, and inventoried in their facilities. Around this diagram are a series of additional modules that can come as part of the platform that enable specific workflows, such as move management. That's one of our most popular modules, maintenance management, project management, real estate and lease administration, space reservations, which includes room scheduling and hoteling, sustainability, and more. So keep in mind that a product such as this, which is a cloud-based solution for managing all of your needs for your facilities portfolio, is based in the cloud and fully integrated with our BIM-based solution, which I'm going to be talking about here in just a moment. But more specifically, FM Systems does provide a platform for BIM for the building lifecycle. It includes core capabilities that allow you or enable you to bidirectionally, and that's very important for a platform like this. We call this cloud-to-cloud integration. It allows you to bidirectionally integrate a full model, and in the case of FM Systems, due to our partnership with Autodesk, a Revit model, which allows you to take that model and quickly and easily connect it to our cloud-based FM Interact platform. This allows you to take advantage of not only a single building model, but an entire building portfolio of models. Imagine trying to manage dozens, if not hundreds, of Revit models and provide them to your facilities team in a way that does not disrupt their workflow. And that's really what we're focused on doing. Not only are you getting the model data out, the ability to be able to see traditionally what you would consider the model, the 3D aspects, but all of the data as well, which allows you to be able to integrate reporting, so you can quickly run reports or access dashboards that compile, list, and analyze data about those models. Configurable workflows, so if you've got things such as notifications and approval processes around things such as maintenance requests or move management, moving people from one location to another, a platform like FM Interact provides that level of capability to your BIM-based building lifecycle. We also have full bidirectional integration with Autodesk A360 large model viewing platform as well as Revit. which is pretty exciting. And I'm going to show you a few videos here in a few minutes that allow you to see that. So one of the capabilities that I really like to talk about, and I want to be clear on, is that what's really exciting about providing a platform such as this for the building lifecycle is that most people consider BIM as something that's maybe a little mythical or sort of legendary, maybe hard to grasp. You need BIM experts. And the truth is, when you're using a platform like FM Interact, that's just simply not the case. We consider all of the people in this diagram as potential BIM lifecycle participants. You may have leased administrators accessing data that's literally flowing in and out of the model, move managers, you're moving people and assets from one location to another, space planners, facility managers, maintenance technicians who maybe have a simple view of model data coming directly out of the model, maybe on a mobile device. All of these people are potentially accessing data and drawings in the full 3D model and providing information back into those models, so keeping all of those models bidirectionally synchronized. So keep that in mind, that this is really a key component in what makes a cloud-based facilities management solution like FM Interact different from let's say a desktop product like Revit itself. We can actually take that model and serve it up to all of the facility team members. So just so we can level set here a little bit, post-occupancy BIM, we consider it a few things. One is, let me see if my animation is going to work here. There we go. It is not project-based. This is for your entire facilities portfolio. It's not just during design and construction, but it's really taking all of those models, one or all of those models, in your process and providing them into an IWMS solution like FM Interact for the entire facilities lifecycle. We believe that the focus on these models needs to be on elements that need to be maintained or inventoried. This is very important, and definitely lessons learned from our many customers and people that we've talked to in the industry who are adopting this process. Facility team members, especially if you're dealing with a new design and construction project, you really need to be in the room early during the planning phase so that you can communicate your modeling needs, your data needs early in the process and get those included in your BIM deliverable guidelines. So really focusing on building elements that need to be maintained and inventoried as well. The last but not least, we really believe for this to be successful that it needs to be pragmatic and easily maintainable, that all facility team members, regardless of their technical expertise or their BIM expertise, should be able to be integrated into this process and into these workflows and be able to actually interact with data and drawings coming from the model, but also updating them either through a web browser or through a mobile device, as you see in these diagrams down below. In a few minutes, I'm actually going to show you a couple of these through videos. I'm going to show you some live demonstrations. And we believe that this is collaborative by nature, so if you've got a facility team member who's maybe in maintenance, they're updating information about assets that are installed at your facilities, and you've got space planners who are then maybe working with move teams who are taking that data, that asset data or people data that's been updated by others. All of this information being maintained and accessible by the people who are closest to that information and who know it best are actually integrated into this BIM process and are all providing the ability to keep all of your models updated and accurate throughout the entire building lifecycle. So you're not just taking a model that you get from design and construction, putting it on a file server somewhere and letting it sit there. We're actually taking that model and inserting it into the BIM-based process or the facilities management process and enabling all of your team members to actually participate in a collaborative nature during that process. So a couple of examples of BIM-based workflows. On the left, we've got building models that are coming from Revit. This is exactly how FM Interact works. We've got the ability to be able to connect people in your facilities team or organization who need to access that model during the day-to-day facilities operations, and they can be in the office. We've got a gentleman sitting here looking at a model, interacting with it through FM Interact. This could be a space planner, maintenance manager, whoever that may be within your organization, and how that is actually looking in the product that's there on the right. That's FM Interact. We're looking at a model. We're able to click on the elements in the model, see all of the information about the model, such as where it's located, what its maintenance history is, what its warranties are, when do we predict its end of life cycle is going to be, has this ever been located in one location or another, all of the preventive maintenance procedures, pretty much anything you could ever imagine that you need to track, including photographs and documents, all of that then accessible through FM Interact. We've also got the ability to be able to access this model data in the field, not for just a single building, but for the entire portfolio. We've got a product called FM Mobile, which essentially is a field-based version of FM Interact, specifically built for mobile devices, which allow you to access that information in a number of different ways, including the full model, the ability to be able to simply touch that model with your finger and get data back from it, but also integrate that into your full processes, such as maintenance. We've got a little diagram there of a work order on an iPhone, and that's a direct screenshot from the product itself, and I'm going to be showing a little bit more about that here shortly. Go ahead and go to our next slide. All right, so the ability to be able to gather field data to populate a model and IWMS. At the top, we've got a couple of different solutions here. We've got on the left, we've got an iPhone. This could be an Android phone as well. We've also got a mobile device, such as a tablet. The ability to be able to access that out into the field very quickly and easily, as well as supplement that data with things such as photographs or pull up the actual model itself, and then have that bidirectionally not only synchronized with FM Interact, but as you make these changes, either in the field or in the office, you're actually, if you've been given secure username and password access and you've got the appropriate role, you're actually updating the information in that model itself, which is incredibly powerful. This is bidirectional. We're seeing that data bidirectionally flow in and out of the product. It's very smooth, very easy to use. Literally, you can get trained on how to do this very quickly, and we're seeing a lot of success with our customers who are adopting processes such as this. Okay, so what data are you going to collect and how? I think that this is one of our big lessons learned in the product, and that is the ability to be able to understand early on that this data doesn't magically get into your models. If you think that at the end of a design and construction project that you're going to get a model that meets your facility management needs and you were not involved in that process early on of providing your data requirements or modeling requirements, you're going to be, I think, sorely disappointed in the model that you get, because its focus is going to be on things such as coordination, clash detection, and construction documentation, stuff that may be and fabrication drawings, things that are really terrific. They're great to have for that design and construction process. They're good to have for your project record at the end, but they're not necessarily good for day-to-day operations of your facility. So we really highly recommend that you understand that data can get put in at any time. Through the design and engineering process, we've got things such as asset ID, a short description, design performance data, the location of where that thing is going to be installed. That could be supplemented by your general contractors and subs, as long as they understand and that it's in your contractual requirements to have them put this information in. They may be adding things such as who's the actual manufacturer of what really got installed, the model, when it was installed by, and the date, as well as the warranty information. Terrific data to get directly out of that model. And during commission, we may be doing things such as getting the real serial number, putting an asset tag, the long description on there, and then carrying all of that actually into day-to-day operation. Now, if you're maintaining this model live and bidirectionally throughout its life cycle of this facility, when it comes time for renovations and retrofit and we start that process all over again, you're going to be in much better shape with your project team. Being able to provide to them a model that's been well maintained, it is in good shape, it's a really great place for them to start in terms of the next process of managing that facility. Okay, so here's a couple more examples of being able to navigate those models in the field itself. You can do it either through simple handheld BIM data access. We see maintenance technicians looking at it and updating BIM data all the time. You're looking at right now a work order where we're attaching a piece of equipment to a work order and dispatching that and getting it corrected in the field. Often those maintenance technicians don't need full access to a model that they can spin around and things. Being able to pull up the record for that information, even though it is coming from the model on a simple handheld device, is exactly what they need, and we're seeing a lot of success there. We also have the ability to be able to provide floor plan-driven BIM data access. This is the exact same data as you're seeing in that handheld device on the left-hand side, but we're just supplementing it with the floor plans, and those floor plans are being produced directly out of the BIM model, the Revit model in this instance. And then we've also got the ability for those of you who are maybe a little bit more sophisticated or want to take advantage of that 3D geometry. We see this being incredibly successful for people who are working in complex physical plants where they need to bring up MEP, HVAC equipment information, maybe electrical equipment information, and being able to drill down literally right there in a device like an iPad or an Android mobile device, being able to select these items right there on that device and bringing it up. Once again, you're looking at 3 completely different views of what BIM data can look like to a facilities team. All of it's the same information. We're not recreating anything. It's live. It's flowing in and out of the actual Revit model itself, and we're just providing appropriate views to specific facility team members out there in the field as necessary. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to play a couple of videos to show you the product live. I recorded these myself, and let's just go ahead and jump in here. I'm just going to go ahead and push this one up to you guys, and we'll walk through it. So in this first example I'm going to bring up, we're actually inside of Revit right now, and I'm looking at a model. I'm going to go ahead and look at one of my facility plans. We've got a toolbar plugin that uses web services that plugs into Revit and then connects this model securely to our cloud-based IWMS platform. We can do things such as synchronize space and assets. In this example, I'm just going to go ahead and window over a room, and it's going to bring up all of the data about this room right there inside of Revit. Now, the data that's in these drop-downs is actually coming from FM Interact out in the cloud, and this is coming up right in the Revit model itself. Now, if I'm a technician that you've given access to be able to do this, I can simply modify this information, change it. Now, there is a fine ability to be able to control who's allowed to do this, but once I make that record update, it's been updated. Now I'm going to pop over to FM Interact itself. This is the view that the entire facilities team may have, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that exact same space, and I'm going to edit it, and it's going to bring up a dialog box. This is the exact same data that's in the Revit model, and if I choose so, I can make this, I can update this information, hit save, and those changes are going to go right back into the Revit model itself, which is pretty exciting, bidirectional, the ability to be able to push that both ways. And now I'm going to go right back into that Revit model, and I'm going to show you that that change has actually occurred in the model. This is fantastic because all of those people in your facilities team who are not necessarily Revit savvy or BIM savvy, they're actually taking responsibility for maintaining this model data, and they may not even know that a model exists. Same process can occur. I'm going to go to the next one. The same process can occur. This is me with my iPad. I'm going to bring up a building model right here in the pad itself, and we're just going to go ahead and load that model. This is the exact same model that we were looking at in FM Interact, but we're not in Revit right now. We're actually in FM Mobile, which is one of our modules of FM Interact. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the model and show you how easy it is to navigate this thing with your typical finger swipes and pinch to zooms. I can rotate the model around. I can go in here and I can poke on one of those building top pieces of equipment, and it's going to bring up all of the data, historical maintenance data, where this is located. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see me. I'm going to create a work order, and what's cool about this is it's going to go ahead and auto-populate a lot of the data into this work order based upon information that's actually coming right out of the model. So there I was picking on a piece of equipment. I loaded up the data on that piece of equipment. We wanted to report something that was wrong, and I went ahead and fired off a work order. Very easy, not disruptive. We've really designed this so that all of your team members can get involved in this BIM-based lifecycle process without too much training or difficulty. So the last thing I wanted to show you, so keep in mind, try to imagine that we've got thousands, potentially tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of components in our building. Imagine being able to Google or search for through your entire physical space inventory and auto-zooming to the location of a single piece of equipment. You may or may not have any idea what building it's in, what floor it's in, what space it's in. We've got the ability to be able to do a simple keyword search on a serial number, on anything you may know about that piece of equipment, and auto-zoom to the location of it. Once again, I've pulled up this pump, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a new service request. keeping in mind that all of these examples that I'm showing you are all pulling from the same data. This is live and bidirectional. It's flowing in and out of our Revit model or Revit models, keeping in mind that many of our customers and people who are adopting this process, they don't have a single building. They don't just have a building that's coming out of operation or out of the AEC process and in their operations. They have potentially hundreds of them. Think of a higher education campus with potentially hundreds of Revit models, or a corporation with a corporate campus with dozens of models. All of those can be taken advantage of in this process, and we're able to show that very quickly. All facility team members can not only bidirectionally update that information, but we're making it super easy for them to be able to navigate models, zoom to and locate information in those models, even if it's an incredibly large, complex model. Think of things such as finding a single HVAC component in a hospital model. It could be thousands and thousands of components. Being able to locate one when you only know a serial number, we can do that, and we can auto zoom to that either through a web browser or on a mobile device, finding that really quickly. Now, without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead. We're already 25 minutes into this. I'm running up to the end of my presentation. I'm going to go over to our Q&A panel and, Leisha, see if there's any questions that we have before we wrap up. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to type those into the Q&A pane, and we'll take them as they come in. If we don't get to your question, because we often have several, or some that need further explanation, we then will send those directly to you. Leisha, I'm not actually seeing any questions in the pane. Do you see any there?
I am not seeing any. It looks like none have come through at this time.
Okay, great.
Yeah, again, on the right-hand side or at the bottom, there's a little Q&A widget. So if you have any questions, you can enter them there, or if you think of something afterwards, you can also follow up with us afterwards, and we'd be happy to answer your question for you.
Great, and the contact information on the screen here, you can contact me directly if you've got customers. It's bhaines@fmsystems.com. You can also reach out to me on Twitter. At FM Systems is the FM Systems Twitter account. At Lifecycle BIM is my personal Twitter account. So if you want to tweet something to me or contact me directly, feel free to do so. I do many presentations on Lifecycle BIM and would love to answer your questions based upon all of the experience that we've been able to gather. FM Systems has been providing bidirectional Revit integration since actually 2009, so we've done it for quite a while, and we've learned quite a few lessons. Okay, a couple of questions here. How responsive is FM Systems on a typical office server network? Well, as long as that office server network is configured appropriately and you're using fairly modern hardware, it's going to be great. We offer the software in 3 different ways. We either do it where you can host it on-premise, or we provide it in the cloud, either through our hosting service or through a traditional, or what I would say, emerging SaaS capabilities, so being able to access our service on a monthly basis. On a mobile platform, is internet connectivity required to access mobile, or does it download and store locally when not connected to the web? It depends. What I was showing you in the video earlier, where I was streaming the model live to a mobile device, that does require an internet connection. It's just a function of the way we've programmed it, and we're live streaming those large models. Now, we do have apps that allow you to do things such as workplace surveys and do room scheduling and room reservation. Those apps do not require a live internet connection, and we're continuing to add to that application or mobile app pool all the time. But what I showed you earlier, that does require a live internet connection. Another question is there an occupant interface? Absolutely. We can configure these interfaces. The majority of the people who are coming in to look at this model data, whether or not it just be information, run reports, auto zoom to the location of a floor plan, can be provided access to anybody from a simple occupant all the way up to the Director of Facilities, VP of Facilities, and all of them get their own specific interface that's configured when we implement FM Interact. Here's an example. Here's another one. Is it possible to maintain a schedule for maintaining equipment, yearly automated reminders? Absolutely. We've got a full CMMS capability built into FM Interact as part of this process, so you're getting all of that model data out. We can do both preventive and corrective maintenance. Preventive would answer your question in terms of being able to log, maintain, and track all of your preventive maintenance processes, as well as getting reminders or notifications. We also have active dashboards that allow you to be able to see those preventive maintenance requests that are in play or upcoming, those that you've missed, those that have been deferred. All of that's included in here as well. Let me see here. So can I operate my own personal cloud, stay independent of any outside services? Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You would negotiate that with us. We typically provide, well, we have a hosting center where we do offer a hosted model, but we have many of our customers who do their own self-hosting through their own, what we call on-premise, or through their own hosting service. Yep, that is capable as well. Is there a capital asset planning facility condition index capability? There is, and the ability to be able to configure that based upon your own specific needs, or we can provide to you out of the box the way that other people have done it. We can track the FCI. There's a lot of different ways. Most of our customers who do this have their own sort of modified ways of being able to track those condition assets, ranging from the actual entire facility all the way down to the individual assets that are installed. And let's see, I think that's the last question, Alicia, which is great because we're right at 2:30. So if there are any more questions that come in, we'll answer those offline. I apologize for interrupting there, Alicia.
Oh, no,
go ahead.
you're not. Fine. Well, thank you, Brian, for putting on this great presentation today, and thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your day to attend today's presentation. I hope you found it was beneficial, and like I said at the beginning, that link that you clicked on today to get into the webinar, it actually takes about an hour, but it could take up to a day for it to turn into an on-demand portion. So you can watch that again, download those resources, and we'll also be following up with a thank you email with the PowerPoint slides and the PowerPoint presentation. So again, if you have any questions after the webinar, feel free to reach out. But thank you again, Brian, and to everyone who attended today's webinar. I hope everyone has a great afternoon.
Thank you, Alicia.